we're live. All right, welcome everybody to our weekly community call at Yam Finance. Every week we have this community call kind of rundown on what's going on, what happened this week, what we're looking forward to for the next week. We do this every Thursday at 7 p.m. UTC. I know there has been some changes for time zone or daylight savings or some sort of time changes for certain areas of the world. So we're going to keep it at 7 p.m. UTC unless there's an outcry of community that wants it a little earlier, a little later. So if you guys are joining us from a place that will be changing times soon, just make sure that the UTC time stays static. Just for housekeeping, just if you can keep on mute. Otherwise, if you would like to say something or there's community intros coming right up, just go ahead and hit a +1 in the chat just so that we can make sure we get everybody in order. With that being said, community intros. So there's quite a few new faces or new names on this call today, and I would love for you to speak out and introduce yourself. What got you into Yam, or what excites you most about Yam, and a little background if you would like. And completely optional, but I would really appreciate it if you haven't introduced yourself before, to do so now.
Also, if there's anyone who prefers to be anonymous, you can share what you feel comfortable with. We're not asking you to dox yourself or anything like that. We just like to know,
We need your social security number, your wallet address, all of it.
Only if you share your seed phrase.
Anybody would like to speak or give a short intro? I think I scared everybody. Usually at least one person speaks up.
Hi, I thought that was pretty funny actually. I'll go. My name's Will. I've lurked on a few of these calls before, but never actually introduced myself. So I've been working at PieDAO, making some cool index products on the marketing side and community growth, product growth. So yeah, happy to be here, getting involved here, and hopefully make some good community growth if I can. That's the goal.
Yeah, we're excited to have you on board, Will. We definitely, we're expanding quickly. Our community is growing, and we could definitely use your guidance and your help with some of the community management. So Will is going to be likely assisting us with some of the community growth initiatives. So look out for some really cool stuff. I love what PieDAO is doing in terms of all the different kind of initiatives that they have, community initiatives that they have. So it's really cool. Anybody else would like to introduce themselves? All right, well, we'll move on. We'll give you another chance at the end if you would like. So let's move through this agenda. We don't have a super packed agenda today, but a lot of really good stuff that's happened over the last week or so. As far as governance is going, there's no votes that are up. We'll update you as soon as we do have something that's coming up soon. But if you do in the future are planning to do any voting, you got to make sure you register on yam.finance/governance in order to vote on either the snapshot or the on-chain voting. On-chain voting proposals was just executed, and didn't you go get ice cream? So on-chain voting proposal were just executed. Excuse me, sorry guys. So I apologize. We got my son in the background. On-chain voting proposals. We just executed the UMA rewards distribution, liquidity gas migration to UGAS June 2021, and UStocks liquidity provisioning. So we went over this last time. But if you have any questions about it, feel free to ask us on Discord. as far as some of KPIs. Okay, so we're starting this KPI setting to update you guys on kind of key performance stuff. Theo, if you want to jump in here real quick with this, the KPIs, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. If you just go down a little bit more. So treasury is your part, right?
Okay, sure. I'll go for it. Treasury. So right now, Treasury holdings, we're looking at total value of 7.4 million. These are all our different holdings. If you look at it, it's pretty diverse. And part of our initiative, especially with Dow House, is to help other treasuries kind of diversify their holdings. And this is, you've got YUSD reserves, DPI, which is DeFi Pulse Index, ETH, Sushi, where we're getting these gains from basically taking YAM / ETH and liquidity, providing liquidity and mining liquidity Sushi from it. We also take the Sushi and turn it into X Sushi to gain additional yield off of it. This is DPI / ETH as a liquidity position. We've got about $2.4 million in there. We started this DPI fairly early in the game when they released it, so it's grown a significant amount, and our treasury's grown along with it. Index Coop gains, so we take DPI and ETH and we LP it, and in return we also get index tokens. We've got about $250,000 there. As well as UMA tokens, the treasury personally liquidity mines UMA, for providing liquidity for UGAS, UStonks. So we get another revenue stream here as well. A majority of these tokens are given out for the users that also assist in liquidity mining. YAM Dow House, which is our initiative for Dow House. We've got about $1 million there. UGAS collateral. So this is the collateral that we're using to provide liquidity for UGAS. We've got about $500,000 there. UStonks collateral, which is USDC. We've got about $1 million. So all in all, 7.4 million. Very, very kind of spread out, diversified. It's a really cool treasury, and it's doing really well. Number of YAM holders currently at 6,887. YAM Finance Twitter followers 22,000 approximately. Discord members about 9,000. So we'll keep track of these numbers on a week by week basis. This is just the first week that we're putting it up. So next week you'll see the changes in those. As we move forward, we'll definitely be adding more of these informational KPIs. With Degenerative Finance, we've got its own KPIs, especially relating to the most recent launches of UStonks and UGAS. So Theo, why don't you take this away?
Yeah, just one more comment on the treasury. So you obviously see the UMA rewards. Now, one thing that YAM is doing during its current transition, right, away from this original rebase model, which has been canceled at the end of last year, to a normal governance token with more conventional tokenomics, is obviously this element that our products are generating revenue. And so the interesting thing when you look at this table is that those UMA voting tokens have not been bought or anything, but we've earned them. We've earned them by building Degenerative Finance. So you can pretty much just look at this and just, look at this as revenues that we are generating from products. It's something that maybe at first sight might not be obvious to everyone, but we're going to work on this to break it out a little bit more so that the external community and investor community will find it much easier to really see what the underlying earnings potential is of the products that we're building, starting with those UMA rewards. I just wanted to quickly clarify this, as it's quite a important point. And then just on these the Degenerative Finance KPIs, I think we had a great week. We managed to increase collateral even more, about $5 million for UStonks, a little bit over $2.5 million for UGAS June. and that's now accounting for about 8% of all UMA TVL. Why is this important? It's important because the share of of developer mining rewards is a function of our percentage of total TVL. So the 8% of UMA TVL pretty much means that we get 8% of 50,000 UMA rewards per week as part of the generic developer mining scheme. Now, of course, for the current week and for last week and for the next week, there will be extra UMA and YAM rewards for both products. But this just shows you that what we're doing at the moment really kicks off this flywheel of people learning about the products, touching the products, testing the products, giving us feedback, which we can use to learn, to further refine the product. And in addition, it helps us to create a sticky user base of liquidity miners who mint in LP. And then going forward, we will be able to capture a relatively large market share of these UMA rewards. One of the noteworthy events today was that a large crypto whale, which goes by the name of 0xB1, minted about $1.2 million worth of UGAS. You can see the transaction hash, it's all online. I think it's great. It's a great validation of what we're doing. It's great that the big whale's taking notice of our products, and we really hope to capitalize on that going forward. The synthetics market cap, so UStonks around $1.7 million, and then UGAS $0.8 million. So all in, those two products now have $2.5 million, $2.5 million in market cap. The system is healthy. Interestingly enough, those GCRs haven't moved a lot if you compare it to last week, which is great because it shows that if you minted last week, there was pretty much no risk because trading was quite muted. And then just the other big event is that since today, both UStonks and UGAS June are available on CoinGecko, which means it's easier to track. It's easier for people to see it. And then also we're now going to have those products as part of the general coin lists that people access when they go to Uniswap to trade.
Awesome. Yeah, it's looking good with all the growth in the TVL in degenerative.finance. We are, part of it's due to the increased rewards, but at the same time, it really goes to show that there's a need for this product. There's a need for what we're doing. UStonks is growing. People are looking to trade it. There are some great opportunities there. Without liquidity, there can be no volume. So if you want people to trade it, first you got to start with liquidity, and that's what we're building here. With V2 website, Indigo, if you'd like to just give us a short update on the progress.
Yeah, I've gotten most of the backend logic done, working on the more of the UI designs that Bloku made, which I mentioned before are beautiful, and I'm really excited to show you guys once it's done. But I've finished up the portfolio page pretty much, and now moving on to the page to show all the available synths that we have. And yeah, it's really nice. So yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Yeah, so we hear your frustrations, some of your frustrations with the current interface. We're kind of reworking the whole thing according to a lot of those, a lot of the feedback that we're getting from the community. UStonks and synthetics in general are very complicated instruments. They can be very simple. UStonks is supposedly very simple. UGAS is also supposedly very simple. But if you want to go in and mint an LP and create these synthetics, it is a little complicated. If you guys, a lot of you probably on this call have minted before, and it's step by step. You're like, should I click on this button? Should I not click on this button? If I click on this button, will it explode? So Indigo is doing a lot of this great work with Bloku, designing the front end to make this as simple and easy and smooth as possible, and it's looking great. I don't know. The marketing team can kind of maybe give you guys an update on when they might be able to display some of this, but I've seen it internally because it's still being worked on, but it looks fantastic. Really, really nice. So moving on with the synthetics, actually, I'm going to go back just a second and go back to the treasury. I forgot to mention something. So for the new listeners on this call, our treasury is kind of our centerpiece to Yam.finance. This is where as you can see, this is where we take a lot of assets and use it in very productive ways. Most of the stuff is actually to use to be helped. Most of the assets are used to basically help the Yam ecosystem. So, we're using it to create partnerships. We're using it to bootstrap liquidity. We're using it for a ton of things. But not only were we using it to help us, we're actually using it to grow. So as Yam moves forward, this is kind of our battle chest. This is how we're going to be able to take Yam protocol, the Yam ecosystem to the next level. With this 7.4 million, number one, anything that touches the treasury generally needs to go through governance. What that means is that if you're a token holder of Yam, you have the power to decide kind of what we should do with this treasury. So we will come up with proposals. If you don't like it, if you don't want us to use the money for this, let us know. This is something that you as a token holder have the power to do. But our goal is ultimately to help grow Yam and to spend the money where it needs to be spent so that we can do that. Sorry to backtrack a little bit, but moving on, any questions first as far as degenerative KPIs, treasury KPIs? All right, so moving on to synthetics. So right now, as you guys know, UStonks, UGAS is a hot key item. UStonks, we also, in addition to the rewards, we have a limited release NFT airdrop that Bruce has been designing and making really, really cool artwork for specifically this NFT. So it's limited to the first 100 users to use 10,000 worth of USDC worth of collateral to mint UStonks. So everybody's collateral ratio might be a little different here and there. So we're not worried about how much UStonks you mint, but if you take 10K to deposit as collateral and you mint UStonks at the GCR of whenever you're minting it, because it fluctuates. But if you mint it at the GCR, you automatically qualify to receive one of these airdropped NFTs. And the second key requirement is that you have to LP for 21 days. We're about 10 days in from the launch. I believe there's still room because not everybody's going to LP for 21 days. So if somebody in the first 100 users that LP'd for 10 days and they quit or whatever, they stopped, they get dropped off. So that adds an extra slot at the end. So, if you're going to do it anyways, you might as well stick in there. You don't only get the rewards, but you also get the NFT. So we've got another 11 days and then we'll get these limited edition NFTs out for everybody. Currently, we're looking at approximately, I want to double check this, but from what I just looked at, we're currently looking at 284% APR on minting and LPing for UStonks. So that's based off your full collateral. If you took 10K worth of USD of collateral to mint UStonks, and then you had to add another 2,000 worth of USDC to pair it to LP, your APR is 284% on the 12,000. So that's everything included. And we're currently, the stock is actually, UStonks is trading at a discount. Right now, the index price is 278. And the actual price is 278. And the index price, the underlying value of the 10 stonks is 290. So there might be a potential for some gains if you buy it and long it. Moving on to UGAS June. As you guys know, this is a quarterly, expires in June. Last 30-day median gas average at the end of June. So the very last 30 days of June, take all the median gas average, you take all the gas costs for each day, median, and you just average it. Will give you the price of it. You're currently looking at about 125% APR in minting and LPing. Not bad. Currently, there's about a 10% premium on trading. So possible to short it, but you want to see how the rest of this, especially if some of the optimistic roll-ups or the L2 roll-ups start coming out, the gas price hopefully will go down. So it'll make it beneficial for you to short at, right now the price is at 0.15 ETH versus the index, which is 0.14. So if prices continue to, if gas continues to trend down, this could be a good shorting opportunity. UGAS March 2021. 13 days left in the month till this thing expires. Right now, it's trading at a 10% discount. So if you were to buy some, you would be able to, if the median gas average stays constant to what it is now, you would make 10% on your ETH. So holding UGAS March is the same as holding ETH. So if ETH goes up, it's the UGAS March, since it's based in ETH, it goes up with it. So there's no, if you buy it, you're basically long your ETH as well as the gas prices, the gas usage. UGAS February 21, you can settle. If you haven't settled already, let us know. If you need some help, we'll be happy to explain it to you on Discord. And the last thing is YAM is available as a collateral on UMA's platform. We are planning to create a YAM stable dollar. So using YAM as a collateral to create a stable dollar, YAM-backed stable dollar. This is in the works. We'll update you as we move forward. Any questions as far as synthetics go? So Bag had a question that said, where on UMA? I'm not sure what that was referring to. Bag, if you'd like to clarify, I could answer that, or we can save it till later. All right, we'll save it for later. Just if you wanted to clarify in the chat, or I'll open it for community questions down below. Let's see, DAO House. All right, some cool stuff going on in DAO House. As you guys know, we have the YAM House. There's a portfolio that you can take a look at. And then the Sushi House proposal is up on their forums. It's looking great. It just needs to be snapshotted at this point in time, which we need the core Sushi team to make sure that they submit it up for snapshot to get it ratified. When it comes up, we'll let you know, so that if you have any Sushi, definitely vote to implement Sushi House, because this is going to be a great value add for YAM, but also for Sushi. The TLDR on DAO House is that it's a treasury management solution for DAOs. So what we will go and do is we find DAOs that might not manage their treasury as well as they could. Sushi in this case has around 300 million in Sushi in their treasury, which is a lot of money, and it's all in Sushi. So that's scary. It's dangerous, and it's probably not the best way you want to. It's not the best thing you want to do to manage your own treasury for your protocol. So we created this DAO House to essentially go in and provide analysis, take a look at the treasury, figure out what the best goal is for the DAO. For example, in Sushi House's case, it would be a bear market protection portfolio first, which would help them if the market turns, which we've all heard of. If you haven't been through it, you've definitely heard of it in crypto. There are bear markets and there are bull markets. After bull markets, which we are in now, usually comes the bear market. So where in last 2017, bear markets wiped out multiple protocols. As good as they were, as much potential as they had, could have been, should have been, they got wiped out. So the reason being is because they didn't have the runway, they didn't have the money, and they didn't have the diversity in their treasury to sustain them for the bear market. If you look at our treasury, it's very diverse. It's constantly updating. There's stable coins in it. There's ETH in it. There's DPI, which is a number of different DeFi protocols. It's got a little bit of everything. If versus Sushi, they might have 300 million, but versus our treasury probably the way we built it should sustain better during a bear market. And this is what we want to do for other DAOs. We want to go in and say, hey, you guys should think about divesting a little bit and figuring out a good portfolio goal for your treasury so that you can, weather a bear market, or we can also come in and show you how to grow it like we've done with our treasury. So a lot of different options here. It's essentially wealth management for DAOs. So if you guys are out there and you guys are listening to this and you know of a protocol, some other project that has a lot of their own treasury, a lot of their own protocol tokens in their treasury, let us know. I'd love to reach out to them and get them onto potentially a DAO house. Moving forward, any questions with DAO house? All right, I'm gonna let Nonstop Tio take it over for the Umbrella Protocol update.
Yeah.
I actually do have one quick question about DAO House. Fetus, for DAOs considering reaching out to Yam about DAO House, or for anyone in the Yam community who is maybe engaged in other DAOs, other communities, and thinks that DAO House might be a good fit for their DAO, or one of the other DAOs that they're a part of, is there a general treasury size or like scope that DAO House is best suited for? Like, is there sort of like a minimum treasury size that we need to keep an eye on, or is it, anyone and everyone is welcome to the table?
Good question. So number one is if you want to reach out to us, Discord, ping me, ping any of the core team. They'll definitely point you in the right direction. Number two is the size of it. No, it's actually very flexible. So the beauty of DAO House is that it's customizable, meaning that if you have a small treasury and you do know that you need to weather the bear market, it could be as low as $1 million, $500,000 to hundreds of millions. Each strategy that we implement is different depending on the size of the treasury. Simple reasoning for that is if you have 300 million like Sushi does, and you want to divest 10, 20 million, you can't go all out of Sushi all at once. You can't market sell. You can market sell 20 million, but you don't want to. And then you can't market buy 20 million of DPI. So there's a specific strategy for them as far as, you've got to go into liquid, very good liquid assets like ETH, like WBTC, anything that has sufficient liquidity to prevent you from wasting all the money that you're trying to protect. So it's if you've got a small treasury, reach out, let us know. We'll love to help. We right now we're still in the growth phase of DAO House, and we're trying to figure out business development, exactly what's the best way to go about things. So any DAO is a benefit for everybody right now, just because it adds experience to our team.
Great.
Good question, Chris. All right, I'll let Theo take it over unless there are any other questions. Perfect.
All right, talking about our risk coverage protocol umbrella, we're making a lot of progress on the messaging, branding, and marketing side, where we really try to differentiate Umbrella from, the other protocols who are already out there. So that's been, and it's an ongoing work stream and focus of ours. Because basically, as we've talked about in the previous calls, the audit has been done. And so on the smart contract side, it's more or less set up. But we really want to make sure we're not developing a product that nobody uses, right? And so top of mind still is the question, which layer 2 will we deploy to? And obviously, there's a lot of moving things right now. Optimism looks like it's going to launch in the next weeks. kind of by the end of the month, at the latest early April, which would coincide with our launch plans? Or is it more, does it make more sense to go to an existing layer 2? But in any case, we really want to make sure we're developing a product where users buy a small ticket risk coverage item, and they don't spend 10 times that amount on transaction fees, because that doesn't make sense, right? So really kind of thinking about the user, who's the normal user, and what barriers to entry do they face when they would interact with Umbrella. And also in that context, obviously developing something for a user base, we've noticed that with the generative finance, we get a lot of great feedback around the visuals, the branding, the graphics. And so we want to make sure we kind of stretch that USP over to Umbrella, and rope people in through the visual cues that they would see when they read a Medium article or look at our Twitter feed. And yeah, other than that, in parallel to that, what we're really focused on is building the UI, building it out, learning a couple of lessons from what we are doing at the moment with degenerative finance. Again, there are overlaps, which is great because we can use our in-house resources to design and to build. That's an ongoing work stream. And once we have that up and running, we'll be able to show some screenshots. We'll be able to give first ideas of what the UI will look like to the user. And then one of the things we're also thinking about is that before we really deploy and launch on mainnet or on the layer 2, once we've decided on one, we want to make sure that the protocol is testable for people. So watch out for a testnet announcement further down the road. But this would also allow us to do some demonstrations, to walk people through the flow, to answer specific questions, and also for people to literally touch any button and not having to worry that things blow up or money gets lost. So Umbrella gets a lot of focus from the team. We're really excited about it. We're focused on it. And we're putting things into place as we go, and it's an ongoing work stream, and takes up the next 4, 5, 6 weeks. I'm not saying you have to wait 6 weeks until you will see something. I'm just saying that we are building this over the next weeks, and we'll release progress and updates as we go along. Any questions?
Awesome. Thank you, Theo, for the updates. Umbrella is definitely in progress. There's a lot. There's a big potential here, but we've got to build it. So moving forward, we've got media marketing. Bruce, designer, Nonstop Theo. I'll have Bruce take it away first.
Hey everybody. So we're working on onboarding Will and Tom onto the team. Both are extremely exciting, talented individuals who I think would do great work for Yam. Will focus on community growth, and Tom will focus on bigger picture brand strategy and organization structure. Been very happy talking to them and brainstorming with them over the past week or two. Umbrella brand design. Well, like Theo said, we've been working hard on developing exciting visuals and brand messaging for Umbrella. The goal is to make Umbrella really stand out in DeFi, create an iconic and eye-catching brand with a powerful message that brings in users and collaborators to our project. So in the coming weeks, I'm very excited to start an Umbrella reveal campaign to introduce Umbrella to all of you guys in a fun way. DAO House, we've been working hard too on creating some beautiful pitch decks for other DAOs, trying to create awesome presentations and help bring on DAOs onto our treasury management solution. DGen V2, like Theo said and Veta said, we've had a fun, successful Ustonks launch, and now we're shifting gears a bit Gonna start teasing and hyping the DGen V2 launch, and slowly reveal the beautiful work that Indigo, Bloku, and the other designers have been doing for DGen V2. At heart, like what I'm most excited about DGen V2 is how easy it is to use, and it's a really like simple. It makes UMA Synthetics very easy and simple to use, and we also want to supplement that by creating a lot of help documents and infographics to make that process even easier. Jim, do you want to jump in too?
Well, I think you covered it well, but I do want to say, just add and emphasize the excitement that I have and the milestones that I think are happening right now in terms of the team growth and the quality of the team members coming in, their level of commitment on the development side and on the marketing side and on the financial side. And it's just, it really is milestone like. And I want to kind of underscore the turning point that we seem to be reaching right now. So nothing more to add, but yes, I'm very inspired about YAM right now, and I think everybody else should be too.
Thank you, Jim. Bruce or Theo, anything else you guys like to add? All right, very cool. So yeah, we're gonna open up for community introductions, questions, comments. I know there's a lot of new faces here, so it'd be wonderful if you guys had a chance to ask questions, or if you just wanted to introduce yourself, that would be awesome. Bag's question is, YAM is available as collateral in UMA's platform. Where, how, and the URL. So basically what I mean by YAM is available as a collateral, that means that we can build synths using YAM as a collateral. And one of the first synths that we're going to be building is like using YAM as a collateral for a stablecoin dollar synthetic. So it's available to be used as to be built. So each of the synthetics needs to be specified what the collateral is when you build the UMIP, which is the UMA Improvement Protocol structure, so that when you create the synthetic, there's a specified collateral, and YAM can be used as a collateral now. I do expect to see additional synthetics that require YAM as a collateral in the future, something that we're going to be working on as far as the DGen V2. Yeah, so along with that, just to, DGen V2 won't be just UStonks and UGAS. It will also be potentially be an aggregator of UMA synths. So our goal is to create something like interface that aggregates all the different UMA synths. So, looking forward is like the key points of the UI is, the usability, the ease of understanding, the education aspects of it, so that we can put all these synths into one place, and then people can come there for to look at and to buy and to mint and to earn rewards easily and without difficulty. Any other questions?
And sorry, just to add to that point, fellas, I want to kind of just highlight this for everybody, because sometimes for us as contributors, we're obviously living and breathing YAM and degenerative finance and all the projects day in, day out, right? 24/7, weekends, evenings, early mornings, whatever. So for us, it's like second nature to look at some of the things, but obviously for external people, that's obvious. And the one thing that I just want to highlight, what we've really, really learned over the last 10 days, ever since we launched UStonks and UGAS June, is just so many pain points for customers or for users / investors in their journey to be a liquidity miner for UMA synthetics, right? And the various points that either keep them from doing it or questions they have, or once they get a certain answer, they get really comfortable. Once they've minted, what are the interactions they're doing deliberately, by accident. And so there's a ton of research and insights we've now generated and we keep generating. And in our opinion, that's going to be one of our USPs and one of our modes for building degenerative finance version 2, right? So when we're talking about opening it up as an aggregator or a discovery platform for other SINs, we really mean this, because we look at these other UIs and they are quite simple because they're less focused on the user. They're more focused on the technology and making sure all the smart contracts work in the back. So we really think that some of the recent actions we've taken give us a head start and definitely allow us to now build a UX that will be so compelling that other synthetic teams building on UMA will want to have their SINs shown and listed on Degen Finance version 2. And as a consequence of that, keep in mind that the UMA rewards have a D-app mining reward share. And that means that even if we promote other SINs, we are eligible to a percentage. It can be anything, 40% down to maybe the mid-20s. It depends on the SINs. But we'll be eligible to a relatively large percentage of the total UMA rewards that are flowing through the system. And the more market share we can capture of all these other SINs, the higher the UMA rewards are going to be. So we're not cannibalizing our own SINs. Actually, quite to the contrary, we're building an even larger revenue angle for YAM DAO.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of exciting things coming up, different products, different directions, but at the same time, all coming back to YAM. I know we've gotten questions in the past where people have asked, what we're focusing on so many different things. So how is that good or is that bad? It's, people are worried that, hey, we're focusing on too much, and we're not specific enough or pointing in one direction enough. But at the same time, that allows us to create multiple streams of income, multiple streams of revenue potentially. And each one of these products are possibly built on top of each other, meaning that Umbrella can be used as a smart contract insurance for Degen. It could also be used for DAOhaus or the underlying set protocol. DAOhaus can include degenerative synthetics potentially in the future. So you look at a lot of these products and they seem like they might be separate, but there's a lot of synergies between them. Not only that, YAM is kind of, you notice that each one of these products has some sort of other collaborator with going along with it. That's what the DeFi space is all about. Composability, where we build off of others, we add value to the entire DeFi space in general, and it's a building block that will build YAM ecosystem to the next level. Any other questions?
Comment? Hey, not a question, just kind of a comment building on that. Hey everyone, I'm Tom. Just in case you weren't on the call last week or recently, just wanted to introduce myself. So I've been getting up to speed with the marketing and operations team, trying to get to know people, see what's going on, and been contributing on the brand marketing strategy type thing. So it kind of ties into what Fedis was talking about. We got so much going on, so many great products. So just trying to put some structure and process in getting a cohesive message out to the community on exactly what's going on, where we're going, and then marketing strategies, objectives, tactics, that type of stuff. So looking forward to getting to know and work with you all more.
Yeah, welcome aboard, Tom. We're super excited about having you. One of the things is with all these different projects, the messaging needs to be more streamlined. The goals need to be, it makes sense when you talk about it like hear. But sometimes if the messaging or, people will come in and take a look at one thing, they don't really see the rest of it. They don't really understand it. So there definitely needs to be a lot of work, a lot of help that needs to be done on specifically what you pointed out. So we're
Some of
looking
that-
excited to it.
And some of that too is going to involve just update to the primary YAM site as well. Just, more copy, more explanations about what we're about, how our products interrelate, that sort of thing. Because, obviously right now, if you go to yam.finance, you don't really see any of that yet. And so that's one thing that we're going to be pushing harder is our story and our narrative about just, why we're doing what we're doing, how it all works together, how it all benefits our users and DeFi in general.
Yeah, so I'm excited where we're at, where we're going. We're moving. It's moving in the right direction. We're going to refocus and make sure that we get the rest of this out, the rest of this information out to everybody, not just on the call, but the rest of the wider community. Anybody else would like to introduce, add some words, comments? Please feel free to do so.
Hi, this is John. I was in here last week. For anybody that wasn't there, I'm coming from a software development background, interested in contributing potentially. I am curious, you stated there are several different products and they have these synergies between them. Are any of these interfaces between the products documented anywhere? And also I'm kind of curious, is there any repo or something like that I could look into that kind of state what the user requirements are for all of these products in general?
You said user requirements for the products. I'm not from a software background, so maybe I'm misunderstanding that. Could you clarify what that meant?
So, John, I understand what you're talking about, and there's use cases and there's some things that are happening on the marketing side, which is where I hang out. However, I don't know if we have any of our developers on the call here who could answer specifically what you're talking about in terms of requirements, technical requirements. I'm sure is what you're referring to, right, John?
You on mute, John?
Yes, I was talking to myself. Thanks, Tom. So yes, Jim, I think you've answered my question there. I'll probably participate a bit in the Discord and see if I can find some of these resources from there. Thank you.
Yeah, so just a general rundown. I don't know if this answers your question, but for example, like DAO House is built off of SET protocol. In addition to the SET protocols contracts, we also build our own manager's contract. And we can point you in the right direction in the Discord to look that up. As far as the degenerative.finance, a lot of it's UMA's synthetics, so UMA's EMP contracts. We also have, if you're looking for like the YAM as a collateral, those are under the UMIPs under UMA's GitHub. Other things, a lot of it's like our treasury stuff is mostly on-chain proposals, on-chain voting. So you can look at the ether scan of the treasury to kind of see where that's coming from, but there's really not much there besides buying and selling, LPing. Let's see, umbrella protocol. You've got your audit here. There should be a subdirectory for the actual protocol itself under yam.finance. So you might be able to find quite a bit of stuff here at the yam.finance in addition to our front end and our back end contracts. I think that answers your question. I don't know, John, but that's basically all I've got as far as developer stuff goes.
Absolutely. I think you provide enough resources. I can take a look and, for any further questions I have, I can refine them and maybe bring them up next week.
Yeah, hey, John, I just wanted to follow up and say that actually I'm really glad that you're asking that question. And it may perhaps be an area where there's an additional set of level of rigor that we would definitely could potentially really benefit from. So if that's an area you look into and you see a need, you see a gap, then we would love to hear about that and fill that gap.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, I'll look into all these resources, see what I come up with, and give my due diligence and see what what I find. Thank you.
Yep, thank you, John. We're definitely kind of all over the place because the different collaborations with different protocols, but we can definitely point you in the right direction. Any other questions? We've got 4 minutes left. Anybody else like to introduce questions, comments? Love to hear from you.
We had a couple more folks join towards the end. So feel free to, if you're interested, just introduce yourself. Or again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to chime in.
Yeah, otherwise we will be posting this video if you missed part of it in YouTube, and we'll be posting the link, or Chris will be updating the forums shortly. Other than that, if nobody has anything else or wants to chime in, thank you everybody for your attention and your time. We'll be having this call again next week, same time, 7 p.m. UTC. If you have any questions or you want to ask anything or you want to speak, or feel free to let me know. We can add you to the agenda and kind of get things rolling that way. Thank you guys for your time. Thank you everyone for attending this weekly call. All right, have a good day.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good week.